it's such a big event, and it's something that, the boys in the back, I feel like the office and, the fans, we all kind of try to bring something extra or something special because, you can feel it in the air that it is Slammiversary. It's the 15th anniversary of Impact Wrestling. So, we want to go out there and represent the company the best we can and just go out there and put on a show. And as far as my match, I'd say, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, of course. But, I would be lying if I said I'm not, a bit, not nervous, but I have the butterflies. It's a big match. There's a lot of risks that go into a match like this, obviously, and, having my wife by my side, obviously I'm concerned for her well-being, because you go into a match like this and that there's going to be, bumps and bruises, and the next day you're not going to be feeling normal. You go into that knowing that, and I'm perfectly okay with that. You have to make peace with that ahead of time or you're not going to succeed in it. So I'm okay with it. I know my wife is ready to go. So it's going to be something, like you said, something to remember. We will go out there and leave it all out there and leave it all on the line. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've been talking about this. It's almost like the continuation of this Impact Genesis and making Impact great again, and all those great catchphrases that have gone along with this just revamping of Impact Wrestling. But one cannot leave out the fact that your world title victory was pretty much what I think changed a lot of people's perception of Impact Wrestling. So obviously kind of building that into Slammiversary, and you and Davey just absolutely killing each other along the way, and now getting to Slammiversary to add the wives into it, it's a whole different dynamic. But do you feel like with you two, obviously, it's there, the heat is there, but adding the wives in, I think, is the huge X factor because we've already seen that they can get pretty physical themselves.
Yeah, I think it's taken that next step. People have seen two guys go against each other, and anything goes, and the street fights with myself and Davey. We've done the street fight and anything goes, and last man standing, that type of stuff. But like you said, when you add in those wives, it's just something. It's the X factor, just something extra that you don't know what to expect. The people don't know what to expect, and I think it adds that little bit of intrigue. And it's also something that I feel that fans can relate to. You know what I mean? Like, we've all been in relationships, and you can only imagine how I feel by Angelina attacking Alicia and stuff like that. So I think people can relate to it, and it's a whole nother level for us to go. And it's interesting for us because we get to see what else we can do, what else we can create with what we have. And so far, I really enjoyed it, and I'm very proud of what Alicia has done and brought to the table, as well as Angelina. They've really brought some good stuff to the table.
Yeah, it's a natural rivalry. Obviously, a great team like you and Davey have been for so many years. And then, of course, we all love watching the teams. We love watching you guys together, but we love watching the teams break up and the wars because the chemistry's there. You guys in the ring are just your timing's going to be on point. And it's really cool to see that the wives were added in. But there's just, again, with Impact, there's so many great things going on. And one of the things we've been talking about with the guests in, kind of tying it into the pay-per-view is just so many of the positives that have been happening. And this recent India trip has really been on the top of that list because obviously wrestling in India and that market has been exploding. And you guys just completely tore the house down for that whole entire tour. But what do you kind of think looking back at how that tour was for you guys in terms of the build for Slammiversary?
I think, like you said, I think it was great. It was, it's something that obviously I never expected to be able to do. So be able to go over to India and, see the country and meet the people and be able to wrestle in front of that audience over there. It was something unique and something special. It's like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, and I think everybody felt the same going into it, as far as the wrestlers in the office and stuff, that let's go out there and show these fans what we can do and what we're trying to do. And the fans brought it, and they gave it right back, man. Like, those fans, they were insane. And it was awesome to feel because, when you're getting it from the fans and then they're next level out there, they're forcing us to take it to the next level. So that was something very special. And I think, the build-up for the whole company, it was nice to see. It was cool to be able to do it in India, to have the last lead-up shows to Slammiversary over there, and the fans, followed along, and the fans knew what was going on with the product. So it was cool to see that over there. The storylines are are still going forward, and people are on them and they're following along, episode by episode. So I think that we're right where we need to be right now going to Slammiversary.
Yeah, those fans were awesome, and whether it was, I think it was James Storm was saying to us, whether it was a hip toss or a headlock, they were into every single thing, and that just makes the matches better. It makes the TV presentation better. But yeah, like these shows leading up to Slammiversary, being in front of frantic crowds like that, not that it kind of sets the bar for what the fans should be really doing at a wrestling show, but it just I'm sure it makes your job a lot easier when the fans are just on the edge of their seat for every move that you guys are ready to pull out.
Oh, definitely. I was watching, from with the people. I was making sure to see, how they were and how they were reacting. And the first match, of the event was Caleb Conley versus Low-Key. And the crowd's going crazy before anything happens, and they tie up, and they're all on their feet, and they're cheering. And to be able to see that and be able to feel it, that's when like, all right, this is when, taking bumps or getting hit by things don't hurt quite as much, because you have that adrenaline. You can feel that adrenaline going. And it definitely comes across, real good, or it comes across amazing on TV as far as how these people are reacting. And it may, like you said, it just makes the atmosphere, whether you're watching at home or if you're in the building, it's just something special.
Yeah, it's definitely something special. But there's something special brewing with Impact Wrestling, and the roster you guys have right now. There's been critics for many years that have either been wishing for something bad to happen in the company or expecting something bad to happen, but it always seems to come out on top. And right now this roster is stacked. It's got guys from Impact's past. It's got guys from the middle portion of the Impact legacy, which I would include you and Davey in the middle of that, of coming in around 2014. And then the stars that are coming in now. Do you feel that this roster may be the strongest that Impact has had since you've been there?
That's tough to say, because I feel since we've been there, I've always felt that the roster was in next level. Like, the roster was always going out there and putting on the best product that we can and putting the best matches going for the crowd. But right now I feel that it might be the best time as far as everybody clicking, but from the wrestlers in the back to the office, to everybody, that everybody's on the same page going forward. Everybody knows what the goal is, and that's to bring Impact to that next level, to bring Impact to new people and to new eyes and show people what we can do. And I think we're all on that same page right now. So it's always a lot easier to do that when we all know which direction we want to go and what the main goal is.